Hi, in this episode of Toys Bags In, I'm going to show you what I got at the local toy show that I went to just recently. I picked up some cool things. It was a pretty big toy show compared to what I've been to in the last couple months, but there wasn't really a lot there that I was interested in, but I did pick up this Masters of the Universe Sunman. I haven't seen any new Origins Masters of the Universe in any of my stores probably in the last 6-7 months at all, but that's fine. I didn't have to search for hours all over my area going from store to store to find him. I just found him at the toy show, and I like doing that. His card is not perfect, but we're going to take him out and take a look. And I was really happy to get Zartan. This is an awesome figure from what I can see. I'm really excited. He was one of my favorite vintage G.I. Joe figures from back in the 80s, and I'm really excited to check this out. It reminds me a lot of that figure. So we're going to take these out of the boxes. I also got some vintage stuff too, and I'll show you the vintage stuff. I got something that's really cool. I'm really excited that I got it. I got a really good price on it, and I'm excited to show you what it is. So first of all, let's take Sunman out. We'll take a look at this guy. I have not had a Origins He-Man fix in a while, and I don't understand what's going on. I don't know why my stores are not getting these figures anymore. They were so active when they first came out in the last... Well, I've been collecting them for about almost a year and a half now. All of my stores were getting all of the figures, and maybe I was just going more often and getting lucky, but he also had an Anti-Eternia He-Man, and I should have picked it up. Typically what I like to do is when I go to a toy show, I like to walk around really quick. If there's something really exciting that I want to get, I will pick it up, but otherwise I'll just walk around because I usually go with a budget. And I passed on it, and then when I came back I found this guy, which I didn't see the first time on my first rounds, so I picked him up right away. But Anti-Eternia He-Man was definitely gone. So let's check the packaging out here. We've got, again, the fantastic artwork that Origins has been doing. Be really cool to get him. We've got the figures in this wave, and then we have the things he comes with and some of his actions and some of the things that you can do. So from what I can tell, his wings or his cape wings come off. And you can see here that it has several languages on it, which means, unfortunately, the comic book is not going to have the actual words in there for the comic. So you just have to look at it. And, oh, and they also had this guy, too, there, and I didn't get him either. They had Eternia He-Man and Clawful, I think his name is. Clawful, yeah. And I did not get those two. I was afraid I already had Clawful, but I don't think I do. So there's the comic. It's got a lot of the guys from the wave. You've got the robot there, Horde Trooper. Get the Horde Trooper in there. So all of these characters that are in this wave is pretty much in this comic. Let's take a look at the figure. Let's just see how he articulates. The knee on the left, the right knee articulates, but the left knee is giving me a little problem. And that knee is going to break if I continue trying to articulate it. We've got articulation at the ankles, at the boot cut, legs, waist, wrist, and the wrist will go back and forth here. Oh, and then the wrists come out. So a little bit too much articulation, not a lot of articulation there. We've got elbow, which seems to be, his elbows seem to work pretty good. Shoulders all the way around. But there is a little bit of, the articulation gets stopped by his wings here. These are interesting wings. They do come off. They're not flexible like you would expect them to be. They're actually pretty hard plastic. And his armor, if you take his head off here, his armor is a hard plastic too, where a lot of times, a lot of this, the armor and the capes that Origins have been, that Mattel has been making by Origins, they were like a soft rubbery plastic, and these are clearly not. So that's interesting. I don't know why they changed. Maybe with this wave, they're starting to change how they make their stuff. Some paint problems are here in the sun. And you can see on the back, there's some paint damage, or just not painted very well, or maybe there's just yellow paint wear or something like that, or paint rubs, yellow paint rubs there. I do believe this is red molded with the yellow paint apps on the shoulders. So not the greatest paint on this, but, and there's some paint rubs here too. So probably just how this guy stored it, because he had a very unorganized table. His table was very unorganized, and everything was just strewn all over the place, and care wasn't taken. That's why I didn't want to pay $25 per figure, because the figures were just thrown on the table and the card was really crappy. But when am I going to see this guy again? Probably not in a while. And I kind of wanted him. I wanted to check him out. So here is his shield. I like the colors of the shield. And I think he just put it in his hand here like this. And then it clips onto his upper hand like that. And then he also comes with this red kind of crazy looking sword, and that will clip into his hand. His hands are molded so that round objects can clip in there, and he holds them really well. Really nice. Here's a close-up of the wings. And that just clips on his head, I think. Now you must have to take his... Which way does it go? Looks like it goes like that. There he is. Cool colors. Really neat figure. And I'm happy to have him in my collection. Now I'm really excited for this. I'm not going to do reviews on these. I'm just going to show them in this video. It's kind of like a reveal, review, everything. But I'm going to show you these because I got some vintage stuff too, and I just want to show those off too, because I think you will agree, if you are a vintage collector, that these vintage toys that I also got with these newer toys are really cool and classic looking. So let me see what I got here. Get this open. Now, if you collect classifieds, you'll be really familiar with the back, the artwork in the back. It has changed over the times that classifieds has been released, but you can see that's really cool. He's got crazy, like, filed, sharp teeth. Let's see if I can get a picture of that there. Look at those teeth. It's really strange. Anyway, and he is number 23. I really do like the Dreadnoks logo that they have in there. That is really cool. It's really cool, Dreadnoks. He comes with a few pieces here. He's got, just like the 80s vintage figure, he does have a backpack. He's got the mask. Let's take a look at this mask. It's a really nice mask. This is backpack. Now, does the backpack open like the old one? Oh, it does. Look at that. You can see the detail of the backpack. Even some paint apps in there, red paint apps here and in the bottom of here. And what you do, if you're not familiar with the vintage one, is you can put the mask inside there and it closes up with a couple little posts. Now I'm noticing some pieces here that are sticking out. This goes into his back. Let's take the rest of him out. Okay, I got him out of the package. Let's take a look at the other accessories that we have with this. We have the classic gun. Pretty similar to the vintage classic one. Not exactly the same, but it's got some nice molding on that. We've got his knife. Almost looks like more of a dagger. Really cool. It's got a hole here. He also comes with this serpent head with an open mouth. Some paint apps in there. The pink inside his mouth is painted, so that's cool. You can get a look at the detail. Really nice. Now there's a peg here, so it has to peg on somewhere. And we also have this hand. I don't know what this hand is. I'm not really sure. I'm sure it's from perhaps the comics or from the story, from the lore. It looks to me like a monkey's hand. Looks like a monkey's hand. I don't believe that's a human hand. If it is a human hand, then it's furry. Looks like a monkey's hand. So there you go. So let's take a look, before I put everything together, let's just take a look at the actual figure itself, of course. Take a look at the boots here. The boots are painted a different color than the rest. It's kind of a grayish. And it's kind of a satin finish on all this whole, the plastic is kind of a satin finish, and then the rest of it is all of a satin finish. You can see that these details on his boots and on his leg pads and on his chest, it's a little bit more of a glossy finish. So it's nice because it gives you a different texture there. You can see all the texture in his legs and his pants. A lot of articulation on these guys. This is only, I've got quite a few classified figures, but this is about the second classified figure that I have opened. Breaker was the first one. He's got double knee joints. He also has upper thigh joints, upper thigh movement. He's He's got a sheath here on the back connected to his belt. And this is a separate piece, but what you'll notice is that you can pull that down. There is some detail on his belt buckle. Let's see if we can get that in the video here. Some detail in that belt buckle. Skull with some kind of horns. And even the belt has got detail on there, like round circle details. They even painted the belt loops on his pants the same color as the pants. Really nice detail. And then we have his gloves. We've got some double joint elbows, even though you don't really need it, but it is nice to have it. We've got hand. And I don't even know why I'm reviewing this and showing you everything. There is an ab crunch here. Quite a bit of ab crunch. It's amazing, actually. It goes back about this much. I'm sure there's a million reviews out there. And this, I'm not trying to review this. I just want to show this figure. His hood comes off and his scarf comes off around his neck. And then what you can do is take his mask, and it should fit on his head like this. Now that looks kind of weird. But I think if you put his helmet on, or if you put his hood on, it holds his mask in, then he looks different. That's really cool. Of course, there's a peg at the back. Uses that for his backpack. He's got two closed fists that he can use for his gun. His trigger finger does fit into the trigger really nice. You can put the knife on his hand. You can also put it in his sheath here in the back. And it does fit really nice. Nice tight fit too, it won't fall out. And the last two details is this snake head, which we have his belt has two little holes that you can peg the snake head in there too, like that. And that fits on his back. So really cool. He's got places to put all of his weapons. And there's two things here at the back. Not sure. Can we put the weapons in there for storage? Yeah, and we can store the weapons on here and on here. And there's Zartan, Master of Disguise. Really cool figure. I really like that. I'm glad I picked him up for $25. I think I see these guys in Toys R Us for like $33 or something like that. For $25, that is an amazing figure. I'm going to save the best for last, but I'm going to just show you a few other things. Of course, I can't go to a toy show without getting a Death Star droid. Been picking these up quite a bit. He's in a really bad condition, but I picked him up fairly cheap. But I can restore this guy, get some more chrome on him, and fix his limbs. And if you haven't seen my video on Death Star droid restorations, then check it out, because I do it on that video. Next I got, this is a core figure. And anytime I find a O-ring 3 3/4 inch figure with a head like this, with the beret, I pick them up. And I'm doing a project. I've been doing this project for over a year now. And this guy will come in handy on that project. So we'll be revealing that project someday. Someday when I get a chance to put it all together. Next, I picked this up. This was free, actually. A guy had a bin and had this in the bin, and this was a free... I don't know why it was free, but the guy's like, yeah, go ahead and take it. Maybe it wasn't free, but he gave it to me for free, so that was cool. I'll pick up Adventure People stuff anytime, especially if it's free. And the next thing I got was this Bucky O'Hare figure. I already have this guy, but this was in a bin for $4, and I thought he's just a cool figure. He's really heavy, lots of plastic in that, and you know, for $4, why not? So I picked him up. I'll probably resell him or use him as trade bait someday. But the thing that I got that I thought was the find of the day, although I do really love Zartan after opening him up, but was this. And these were made in 1984. This is actually a GoBot Rogun, but it is is from the GoBot line. Tonka made GoBots, but Arco, apparently they bought the rights to be able to make these in particular. They're called Roguns, and it looks like a Japanese thing to me. I'm pretty sure that Rogun was Japanese, but Archon took the line and just made these really, they look like really cheap robots that transform into guns. And I've shown one of these before in one of my other videos. It was a smaller Rogun, is about this big. And if you look to see, you know, how big this guy is when he stands, you know, 3 3/4, 5 inch, 6 inch. So he's pretty humongous, and he's really cool. So I'm going to show him off a little bit. This guy was made in 1984. What I've noticed about him is that it seems like he's cheap and there's not much to him. But I let my kids play with him. My kids are 12 and 10, and they thought he was really cool. They transformed him really easily, and not only that, but they really enjoyed him, and I was afraid that maybe he might break because of how old he is. It seems like it's cheap, but really, this seems to be made quite well. It's pretty heavy. It does have a spring system in there for the legs. So, I mean, this is a Rogun, so it's a robot and a gun. So let's transform him. We're going to pull the legs out, push them in. That's where the spring comes in. Then we're going to take the handle of the gun, and that clicks in here, and that holds the stock in place. And what you'll notice is if he's a robot, you know, that's what you get. So if you don't transform him all the way back into robot form and leave this out, it looks like he's going to be... So we've got, this is a shotgun, so we've got, and it's a double barrel, so we've got 2 triggers here. Next, we take the head, turn the head like that, and you'll see that I have 35 on here, but the guy gave it to me for 30. And geez, I thought that was a really, really, really fair price for these. I assume that I've seen these go for like $100 or something like that. Some sellers at flea markets will try to sell them for $100. But anyway, you take the barrels, put them in like that, pull out the barrel like that, and now we have our gun. And that's the head turns into a sight. You can see the sight there. Now, that's not it. We've got wheels on the bottom for when he's a robot, so he does roll. But we have this right here. It says made in Macau by Arco. There's the logo. And if you've never seen Arco, their logo, that's what their logo looks like, a big A. It doesn't say anywhere on here that it is Tonka, but that's who was making GoBots at the time. So what we can do is we can take this switch, pull it back, it opens up, and then you can put the round caps in there. So really cool. My son thought that these were broken, but that's actually just notched out so that you can get your finger in there when you have the circle caps in there, and you can pull it out. Otherwise, it would be really hard to get those caps out. It's interesting how you can still purchase these at any local dollar store. 160 shots. They call them disc shots. I still got a couple left. This takes 2, so let's get 2 in there. So here we go. Let's put these in. Lock and loaded. Boom. We've got 2 triggers. 1 for each side. Well, the right side works better than the left side, but look at that. Smoking. Smoking. So there is the Arco double barrel cap rifle. Whew. Hopefully my fire alarm doesn't go off. And because of those notches, then you can pull these right out like that. Pretty clean. Seems to me all the stickers are there. Let's transform them back. Put those in. Bring those back. Turn his head around. Pull these up. That releases the legs. The legs go out because of the spring in there. And then I guess you could keep them like that. Or if you wanted him to be tall, you could put him up like that and have him really tall. But he's not really sturdy that way. So pretty sure he's supposed to be like that. Let's get him in the back because he is huge. Whew, stinks in here too. All right, there's my look at some really cool toys I picked up. I'm really happy with my purchase. Thanks for watching. This is Toys Bags In. If this video has earned your subscription, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.